Sometimes I'm so frustrated that I don't even know how to process my thoughts. I don't know the best course of action. I don't know. I just don't know. Right? I just don't know. I just don't know. So today I'm driving to go get my sister. In my gym clothes, we're going to the gym. So I'm driving to go and pick her up. And on my road, there was some kind of construction. So they did a detour. So I'm driving down the detour. I've never driven on that road before. So I'm like being extra careful. It's one of those really narrow roads that you have to go off on the side to allow the next person to pass and that kind of thing. So I come to kind of a wide section and I see a car coming towards me. So I pull over to let the car pass. The car passes and I go back into the road, which is back into a narrow section. And I'm coming towards a small intersection and I'm using the mirror. And in the mirror, I could see a car coming from my right. So that car, it had no indicators on, nothing. So I'm just driving up to the stop sign to stop. When I look in the mirror, this car is driving really fast. So I thought to myself, why is he driving so fast on this road? And then he turns into the road that I am on. This road cannot facilitate two vehicles at the same time. So I blew my horn because he was coming right at me. I blew my horn and I stopped because I was driving towards the stop sign. I didn't reach the stop sign as yet. So I blew my horn and I stopped. And he stopped. And so I'm like, oh, kind of relieved we didn't have an accident. I was almost 100% sure we were going to have an accident. So I was pretty relieved. There was no way for me to reverse. It would have been way too difficult for me to reverse. He was just partially into the turn. So all he would need to do is to go back out of the turn. I'm looking in the mirror. There's nothing behind him preventing him from go back on the turn. But also the way he is, I could also go forward and go to the left as if continuing down the straight of the intersection. So I'm inching forward to go so that he can pass. This man starts to move his car, but he's not moving into the turn. He's moving towards my car. So I'm confused. I'm like, wait, was he trying to go straight? What was he trying to do? So I stopped. He stops. So I start to move my car again. He starts to move his car. So I'm so confused. So as I get towards him, his car is partially, he's not able to turn, but I'm almost out. And I'm like, what's the problem? This guy is like, this is Japan. I'm like, okay. Then he blows his horn at me. So I'm like, fuck you. And then he puts his finger. I'm like, I don't give a shit. So I'm trying to go past so that he can go into the lane. There's a car behind him. At this time now, there's a car behind him. I'm just trying to go about my business so that he can get into the lane. He's still driving his car towards me. So I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, seriously, what is your problem? So then he winds down his window and he's like, this is Japan. I don't know what you're saying. Speak Japanese. So I'm like, why are you trying to block my car? Like, just let me go and you go about your business. He's like, oh, so I'm saying this in Japanese now. He's like, this is Japan. Go back where you came from. Go back where you came from. This is Japan. So I'm like, fuck you. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. So I'm like, whatever. So he says, go back where you came from. Go back where you came from. You should die. So he starts going, shine, shine, shine. I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. Shine, shine. Then he goes, koroshita. Korosu, or something like that. Like he'll kill me. So I'm like, kill who? And start to tell him like some serious, proper Jamaican bad word. So that well piss him off. And he's like, you think this is your country? Go back where you come from. This is my country. This is Japan. And if you can't speak Japanese, you need to go back where you come from. I'm like, look at you. Are you listening to yourself? So I'm speaking to him in Japanese now. I'm like, are you listening to yourself? You were wrong. You were wrong. And somehow you're angry. You were wrong. Like, anybody who comes onto the scene can see that you are wrong. I have also cleared the way. You can go where you want to go. There's a car behind you and you're still trying to impede me. And you can go. You can now enter the lane and go where you want to go. And you are disturbing the car in front of you. Oh, he's going to call it. I'm like, call them. You are clearly wrong. Anybody who comes here can see that you are wrong. Like, it's wakari yasiyo. Anata no machigaite. Like, seriously? So I'm like, you know what? You're a waste of time. So I wind up my window and start driving off. And then this guy turns. Remember, he was going to the left. He turns to the right and then starts to follow me. So I stopped my car and he almost ran into the back of my car. So I'm like, are you for real? Start to drive off again. He's still following me. So I'm like, this guy's first. So I stopped my car. And I called the police station. So the police station, I just have the local police station number. So I called the police station and they're like, I should call 110 so that they can get my direct location. Because I was telling them the location and they're like, yeah, they know where the place is, but so that they get my direct location, I should call 110. So I called the police and the police said, don't worry, stay in your car, we're on our way. I sit down in my car, sit in my car, and I'm waiting. While I'm waiting now, look at this situation. While I'm waiting, right? There's a turning to the back, what would you say? Back left of my car. There's a turning to a road. He's stopped in front of that turning behind me, right? I have my emergency on. He doesn't have anything on. He's just stopped. So he's just this car that has stopped. This guy doesn't even know how to use a car, how to drive. Right? So he's just stopped. The person is waiting. Somebody's waiting behind him to try to go into the road. I'm watching behind me in my rearview mirror because I don't trust people like that. So I'm watching because I'm like, why is this guy following me? That's kind of crazy. So the person gets out of the car. This is a lady. She gets out of her car. And as she's passing his car, she looks into his car. And then she walks towards my car and she's like, are you okay? What's happening? So I said to her, this man almost had an accident with me. And then he started following me. So I called the police and the police are coming and she's like, oh, like that. And then she's like, oh, so I'm trying to get into this road. So maybe he's not going to move away from here. Could you go down so that he can come down and I can go in? I'm like, okay, fine. So I drove my car down further. So as she's passing his car, he's so unaware of himself. He's so caught up in himself that she went back to her car and he still didn't move. So she had to get out of her car and ask him to go down so that she could go in. So eventually he goes down and the police gets there like maybe 5 minutes or so, or 3 minutes or so the police gets there. The police stops in front of me. From the direction they're coming at, they stop in front of me, right? So they would get to me first. So both of them came to me. I came out of my car and greeted them. And I'm like, I'm Shawnagay Clark. I called you. One of the police walks towards him. So the police is like, what happened? So as I start to explain to the police, he's like, no, that couldn't have happened. I'm like, I'm sorry? What do you mean? I'm explaining to you what happened. He's like, oh, but that doesn't make sense. I'm like, stop. You were not there. I'm explaining to you what happened. And he's just like, yeah, but that's a road that has a stop sign. You have to stop on that road. I'm like, I did stop on the road. I told you that I stopped. Actually, I stopped twice on that road. I stopped once at the white section to let a car pass. And then I stopped when this guy almost ran into me. And I was before the stop sign, so I didn't enter the intersection. So he's like, oh, okay. But this police starts to interrogate me. How fast was I driving? So I'm telling you that the guy was driving fast. No, he couldn't have been driving fast because this is a slow road. I'm like, I'm sorry? He was... So by this time, that guy is over there explaining to the other police. And he's telling the police how I should die. And I should go back to where I came from. And I should die and he would kill me. he's literally saying this to the police while he's explaining his side, right? He's literally saying, I can hear him saying, I should die to the police, right? Okay, so then the other police comes to me, leaves him there. Another car pulls up. The other police comes to me and is saying, okay, he wants to explain to me what the other guy said. So I said to him, oh, okay, so this police can go and explain to the guy what I said. Oh, no. So I said, why? Why no? Oh, he already explained to me, and this police already heard my side. And I said, and you already heard his side? Yes, but I want to tell you his side. Okay, so who is going to tell him my side? No, eventually we both will tell him your side. I'm like, what? How does that make sense? So one, you heard his side. This police heard my side. Now you want to tell me his side, but that police will not tell him my side. So what's the point? So then he's saying, he starts talking. So he said a lie that the guy said, and I'm like, look at how his car is. That's a lie. So he's like, what happened? So I explained to him. When I explained to the police, you could literally see his face going, yeah, if anybody is lying, it's definitely that guy. Like, you could literally see it on his face. And he's like, oh, so you were before the stop sign? I'm like, yeah. He's like, so you didn't enter the intersection? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, like that. And he's like fidgeting and everything. So then the guy comes up and the guy's like being really mad and, oh, I should die. And I'm like, yo, fuck you, yo. Like, seriously, you are literally in front of the police threatening to kill me. Like, are you serious? So the police turns to me and says, be quiet. So I said to the police, he is threatening to kill me in front of you guys. There are 5 police here. He is walking towards me. He is this close to me. None of you even stopped him. And I am responding to him, threatening me. And you are telling me I'm to be quiet. I'm like, I'm done with this. So I'm actually done with this, because clearly you're not here to protect me at all. You're not even here to hear what is happening. You are here as a Japanese to defend another Japanese. And I'm telling them all of this in Japanese. I'm like, you are here as a Japanese to defend another Japanese. You're not here to defend me. He's in front of me, threatening, in front of you guys, threatening me. So I'm done with this. So I'm like, goodbye. And I'm going to my car. He goes, well, you need to give me a license. I'm like, why do I need to give you my license? I'm done with this. You're not going to be doing anything. Why do I need to give you my license? Oh, you can't leave if you don't give me a license. I'm like, so did you get his license? So I just opened up my big yard and pan him. Did you get his license? He's like, it's other guy that gotta, because both of us were exchanging curse words. It's on both of us. That's what he's saying, right? So I'm saying, I told him, fuck you. He said he will kill me and then proceeded to follow me. One of them is just words after he threatened to kill me. And the other is a literal threat followed by action. And in the Japanese road book, it says you are not to tail a driver. You are not to tail a driver. It literally says that in the book. So I'm saying all of this to him. Oh, yeah, but maybe he only told you to die because you told him, fuck you, and in Japan, it's the same thing. So I'm like, it's not the same thing. Fuck you is not the same thing as I'm going to kill you. Oh, for him, it means the same thing. I'm like, and for me, it doesn't. And it's my word. So if anybody gets to define the word, it's me. Don't you think? So ego no kotabana. Exactly. It's an English word. And it does not mean you should die. And it doesn't mean I'm going to kill you. But okay, let's say it has the same meaning. One of them is me saying that word to him. The other is he saying the words to me and then following me. This man followed me, a woman, after threatening to kill me. Those are not the same things. So I keep saying that to him and he's like, but maybe he wasn't going to do anything. I'm like, how do you know? How do you know he wasn't going to do anything? Is he your friend? No. So how can you say you were not here? And at this time, this guy's, I'm telling you, at this time when I'm talking to the police, this guy is raging. Oh, I'm going to kill me. Oh, I need to leave. I need to go to my yard. Oh, me in Japan. And that is not even Japanese. And how kind of something? Raging. So I said to the police, me not touching no Mayani. Kono mama. Kono kanji. This is how he's behaving. In front of all of you. Right? In front of all of the police officers. He's moving towards me. He's threatening to kill me. How do you think he was behaving when you were not here? What do you think I would have thought his intentions were when you weren't here? Oh, Sona. Oh, Sona. So eventually he goes, he wants my... I said, did you get the other guy's license? Did you get his license? So one of the police moves off and comes back. Oh, I need your license. I said, did you get his? Yes, him get him license. So I gave them my license and them write down my information. So, like, the police is like, what do you hope? I said, I hope to go home without some crazy man following me when he was clearly wrong. That's my hope. Okay, well, you can go. So I said, okay. So I start going on my car. When me are going on my car, I say, me can't go. One next police, the same police who came and was interrogating me, is saying, you can't go. So I'm come back out of my car. I'm come out of the car. This guy's like, who the hell me think me be? And when we do to me and when we won't do to me and all kind of something. And as a woman, I'm driving on the road as a woman and I see him trying to enter. I should back up. I'm acting like I'm not a woman. I'm driving like the road belongs to me, like I'm not a woman. Right? So I'm just like, what does being a woman have to do with anything? There are rules to use in the road. There are rules. So he's like, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Because it looked to me like you want to fight. You want me say anything or anything. Anything or anything. Because he might lift up him hand and say, all I want you to do is to literally touch me. Just touch me. Because there are now 5 police officers out here. And they would have to wipe your face off the ground. Just touch me. Because all this talking, I'm literally over it. Isn't me? I'm over it. The police is like, no. I'm like, don't tell me that. Take your hand out of my face, that's number 1. Take your hand out of my face and stop telling me to be quiet. If you're not going to tell him to be quiet, don't tell me to be quiet. Oh, I'm telling both of you to be quiet. So me stop talk. And the guy go on and I'm going. So me I look the police dead in the eye. So I'm like, you're telling him to be quiet? Oh, be quiet. Stop. Don't say that to her. Don't say that to her. I'm like, you're looking at this? Are you seeing yourself? This is literally racist prejudice behavior. Right now, I'm in front of 5 foreigners, 5 Japanese who came here to defend another Japanese from a foreigner. That's all I'm seeing. I'm not seeing the police. Right? So, as I'm like, can I leave? Because I'm over this. Can I actually leave? Because the guy's going on and on and on. And I'm like, yo, you. I have all the time in the world. I have time too. Mr. Well, go on with the talking. Oh, it's just because one woman police are holding him hand, why him don't slap me in the face. This is what the guy says. It's because this one police woman are holding him hand when I literally bust up big dirty laugh. As like this small police officer woman is preventing you from slapping me in the face. You coward. Like, seriously, you are stronger than her. You can take your hand from her and slap me anytime you're ready. And I am ready for you to do that. Do it. So he goes, that's not even Japanese. What language is that? And do you know what they did? He says, that's not even Japanese. What language is that? And the two police officers who are restraining him laughed. They laughed. And I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm leaving. So I go into my car and the same interrogator police officer comes to my window and knocks on the window. I roll the window down. There was one police officer. Let me be fair. There was one police officer who made efforts to understand me. He was kind. He listened. The same police officer who I explained to the second time, who, when I was explaining to him, his face was like, yeah, she's not wrong. That police officer, throughout the entire thing, he was very kind to me. He spoke to me like a human being. He at no time tried to interrogate me. He tried to listen, and he was very decent. One other police officer, he didn't speak at all, but he didn't help at all. And the other three police officers they took turns interrogating me and gently telling the guy, don't mind her, don't mind her. Right? As if I was instigating something, as if this guy wasn't telling me in front of them that he wanted to kill me because I don't belong here and I should go home. Right? So, out of 5 people, 75% of the police officers that came to my defense upon me calling them for assistance, 75% of them came to interrogate me. 1% came to be the stoic observer, bystander, and the other treated me like a human. Right? So let that be clear. So then, well, that math don't even make sense. But anyway. So then, I'm in my car and, he tells me to wind the window down. I wind the window down and the nice police officer is like, okay, but since it was Otagai, since both of you were exchanging harsh words with each other, would you be willing to apologize? So I said, apologize for what? He was wrong. I responded to his threat. I moved away. I avoided the situation. I diffused the situation and tried to leave. And he chased me down because he felt empowered to chase me down. What would I be apologizing for? So that he believes that this is okay? So that it confirms to him that he can do this? No, I'm not apologizing. I will never apologize. So then I asked them, have you told him to apologize? Same time the interrogator, the main interrogator, he moves off and he goes to the guy because he's saying, I can't leave. He kept saying, I can't leave, I can't leave. I need to apologize, I can't leave. So he goes to the guy after I said, who has asked him to apologize? He goes to the guy and my summation is that the guy told him to go fuck yourself. Because he comes back to me and says, he says, Cairo, like just go home, like that. Like seriously, like go home, like that. Right? So I said, isn't it funny? So I'm thinking you went to him and told him to apologize and he told you, hell no, right? So now it's Cairo. But when you told me to apologize, it was Shinakereba nara nai. I must do it. I must apologize. But when you told him to apologize, he's like, nah, I'm not doing it. And all of a sudden, I can go home. You see how bad this is? So I'm like, thank you so much for your help to the one good officer. Thank you so much for being kind. And I'm going to wind up my window. As I'm driving off, do you know what this instigator police officer says? Just make sure that when you're driving on Japanese narrow road, you drive with caution. So I wind my window back and said, go and tell the Japanese that. And wind up my window and drive off. You know what frustrates me? You know what frustrates me to no end? Anyone who has this simplest of common sense, even if you have no knowledge of Japanese road rules, but you have the simplest of common sense, you could see that this guy turning at high speed around a wall into a small road is wrong. You could see that even without him being there, even without the cars being there. If you went to that intersection right now and just looked with, oh, wait, somebody came around this corner at high speed, you would clearly tell this guy was wrong. One, that's without the threats, without him trying to intimidate me, without him following me. You'd be like, wait a minute, you were wrong. Right? He told the police officer. He didn't indicate. He told the police officer that. Like, how dumb are you anyways? He told the police officer that he didn't indicate. He told the police officer that he drove fast around the corner because he expected me to reverse and let him pass. So when I was telling that to the police officer, the second one that came to me, he was like, oh yeah, he said the same thing. So I'm saying to him, this road is 30. And he told you that he came around the corner fast. Why isn't he getting a speeding ticket? Oh, well, I didn't see it. I'm like, why do you need to see it? He said it out of his mouth that he sped around the corner. Yo, this guy had an ego on him, you know. All he kept saying, oh, if I should know that I'm a woman. I should know that I'm a woman and act accordingly. And it's a young boy, you know. So I'm like, look at this guy. What would you do if this guy was telling that he wanted to kill you and drove you down, looking like a Yakuza? Oh, you see how easy it is for her to accuse me of being a Yakuza? I'm like, you do look like a Yakuza. I don't know why Japanese are so offended by being called Yakuza. Anyways, especially when they're trying to be intimidating. So the police, at one point, the police was laughing because when I just can't even remember that. When he was threatening me, I'm like, do you think because you're a man and I'm a woman, I'm scared of you? Like, are you serious? Are you looking at your body and my body? We're the same. I could literally wipe the floor with you. And then as shortly after, the police was asking me if I was scared. And I'm like, why wouldn't I be scared?